So we're here in Derby city centre, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Derby Cathedral Peregrine project. A project which is a partnership between Derby Cathedral, Cathedral Quarter, Derby City County and the Derbyshire Wildlife Trust, who manages the project. We set up a nest platform in 2006 to enable the peregrines to nest on the cathedral here. Since 2006, the peregrines have nested every year, and so far we've had 55 successful chicks who have been raised here in the city. In 2007, we set up a blog, and the blog has had over 830 posts with over 22,000 comments. The webcams reach hundreds of people all across the world. The webcams have had 4 million hits with over 70 countries, really showing the level of interest and the real level of engagement between people, not just here in the city who can see the peregrines in their own hometown, but also across the world. People can watch the Derby City peregrines from wherever they are. The peregrine falcon is the world's fastest bird. It reaches speeds of over 200 miles an hour when it goes into a dive called a stoop, when it goes in to catch its prey. To do this successfully and to not cause harm to itself, the peregrines have got 3 eyelids. 2 white eyelids and then a 3rd translucent eyelid that comes down to cover their eye when they're in a stoop, to protect their eye, but also so that they can see where they're going. In such speeds as well, the air must pass very fast through the peregrine's nostrils, and to mitigate from harm, the peregrines have got bones inside the nose which kind of fan out and spread out the air so that the peregrine can carry on breathing while it's in its stoop. They also have fantastic vision. They've got something called binocular vision that enables them to see prey for up to 2 miles away. It's about 3 kilometres away. So the peregrines here, we've had over 55 successful chicks who have been raised and fledged, and the adults tend to nest around about springtime, laying the clutches of between 3 and 4 eggs. So the eggs this year were laid, I think the first day was the 17th of March, and then the incubation period is around about a month, around about 4 weeks. So in mid-April we saw our first chicks hatch, and then subsequently a few days after each one, altogether we had 3 eggs that successfully hatched this year. Unfortunately, one of the eggs didn't hatch this year, but that's due to, we think, being an infertile egg, and that is totally normal for peregrines. So once the chicks have hatched, they hatch out into these gorgeous little fluff balls of really white, bright feathers, and they take about 6 to 7 weeks to grow from very small chicks up to full-grown peregrines. They don't look the same as the adults because the juveniles have much more brown and sort of beigey feathers, but they are the same size as the adults. Around about 6 or 7 weeks, when they're fully grown, they start to do a lot of wing flapping and start to tentatively take their first flights, and we call it fledging, away from the nest site. They hang around here for quite some weeks, and the parents will teach them how to catch their prey. So the adults will come in, they'll drop some prey, and the juvenile will swoop underneath, hopefully catching that prey and learning how to get its food.
Birds of prey really capture the imagination of children, so peregrines are a wonderful way to engage children of all ages with nature. They're really fascinated by the facts, like it's how fast they can fly, or even how quickly they grow from hatching to fledging. They're really interested in finding out what they've been eating, the prey species that they feed on, and how we know and how we find out what they've been eating. Peregrines are a real wildlife spectacle. How often is it that people get to see the world's fastest animal without even leaving the city? And if they don't live nearby, they can follow them on the webcams instead. So to try and inspire more children into caring about nature, Derbyshire Wildlife Trust have created the Peregrine Protectors Engagement Programme. We've been going into schools to give assemblies about peregrines to inspire the children and the teachers to bring peregrines into their curriculum-based lessons. We've created a set of resources which include PowerPoints and lesson plans to enable them to do this. We've been encouraging as many schools and children as possible to follow the peregrines live on the webcams and to use what they see in their lessons to inspire the activities that they do. We would love it if schools used our resources to create entire peregrine immersion days in school, and some schools have even started fundraising for us, carrying out bake sales or ice cream stalls to help keep the webcams and the watch points going.
The Derbyshire Wildlife Trust have been running watch points for many, many years now. These events are free events that people are welcome to come down to, bringing people from the city and from wider Derbyshire to come and see for themselves firsthand the peregrines right here on the Cathedral. We set up high quality scopes so that people can look through the scopes. We have binoculars available, and we always have some kind of arts and crafts for the children, and we do encourage people to take a habitat home for wildlife, to take action at home as well. So when people come down to see the peregrines, quite often this is the first time that they've ever seen a peregrine. I've seen so many faces of absolute joy and awe as they've looked through the scopes and like, wow, I can see it. And especially sometimes from the children as well, because they've never seen them look through a scope before, but from adults alike, and from everybody across the city and from wider Derbyshire. We really believe strongly in the nature connection that seeing the peregrines can bring to people. We know that by having a strong connection to nature is really good for people's mental health and well-being. And by looking through the scopes, seeing the peregrines really does give people a boost. But we also know that watching nature on screens is good for people's well-being too. And through watching the webcams, we know that that also can improve people's health and well-being. Through improving people's health and well-being and improving that connection to nature, we know that that connection to nature also improves people's pro-environmental and pro-conservation behaviours. As evidence that people are gaining benefits from watching the peregrines on the screen, we've had comments sent to us on the blog or messages through the blog from people across the world who have been recovering from injury, who've been recovering from surgery, and people from low points in their lives have said that by watching the peregrines hatch, by watching the peregrines grow into fully fledged adults, has really given them focus and something to connect with, really fostering that compassion and empathy for the wildlife, which we know brings benefits, but we've actually had the evidence to say that yes, it's working, and these people are feeling better for watching the peregrines.